Welcome to the deep dive. We're heading straight into Central Europe today.
That's right.
All thanks to this, well, stack of sources. One of you shared articles, some research notes, even a video transcript.
Quite a mix.
It is. It's a deep dive into Hungary. Our mission, really, is to unpack all this material. We want to pull out those, key knowledge nuggets.
Find the surprising stuff?
Exactly. The insights that make Hungary sound so, well, fascinating.
And these sources, they paint quite a picture, don't they? Hungary comes across as really affordable, but also a deeply satisfying place to visit.
That's the vibe I got, too.
Yeah, and the material really highlights how these diverse cultures have sort of woven together over time. You see it in the architecture, the monument.
Even the food, I bet.
Oh, definitely the food. And the streets themselves. It's this blend you find, from the big cities to the sweeping natural landscapes.
Absolutely. I mean, this stack gives us glimpses of thermal springs. They sound amazing, pure relaxation, and architecture that looks like it's straight out of a romance novel. And just, well, so many unique places.
Oh, to cover.
So our goal is to cut through it all, get you right to the core of what's most interesting, most important, quickly, but, thoroughly. Okay, let's unpack this then.
Sounds good. And really, there's no better place to start unpacking than the capital city, Budapest.
Right, into it. Okay, Budapest. The sources describe it immediately as this, big, buzzing, cosmopolitan hub.
The Paris of the East.
Yeah, they use that nickname. And what really stands out is how the Danube River just cleaves it in two, Buda and Pest.
Mm-hmm. Two distinct sides.
And the material makes it clear these aren't just geographical halves. They offer, really different experiences, different vibes.
Totally. Buda feels like, well, the historical soul of the city. From these sources, we see mentions of Buda Castle.
The old royal seat.
Exactly, where the kings lived. You can still feel that grandeur.
Yeah.
The architecture is so rich.
Okay.
Then there's Fisherman's Bastion. Iconic, right? But it's not just a cool building.
The view?
Yes. Those sweeping views over the Danube, looking right over to the Pest side. Plus, you've got Matthias Church, Gellert Hill. It all adds up to this historical panorama.
Right.
And the sources were careful to note, areas like the Buda Castle district are World Heritage Sites. It underscores their deep historical significance.
So not just old, but globally important.
Precisely. They're historical landscapes.
Then you cross the river and it's like a totally different energy. Pest.
Yeah. Pest is presented as the dynamic heart, the sort of modern pulse of the city.
The sources highlight some big landmarks there. The Parliament Building.
Huge, very impressive building.
St. Stephen's Basilica, soaring up. And Andrassy Avenue, which sounds quite elegant.
It is. But Pest also offers these experiences that feel uniquely Hungarian, too. The sources talk a lot about the thermal baths.
Oh, yes, the baths.
Specifically, Széchenyi Thermal Bath. It's noted as one of the largest medicinal bath complexes in Europe. Can you imagine? Soaking in those warm waters.
Surrounded by that architecture.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. And then, something else that struck me. The ruined pubs.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about those. They sound intriguing.
They do. They're in the Jewish quarter. The material describes them as these incredibly eclectic bars just popping up in abandoned buildings and courtyards.
So not purpose-built pubs.
No, not at all. It feels like more than just nightlife. It's like this creative reclamation of space, giving old places a completely new, vibrant life. Pretty cool concept.
Definitely. And the source is layered on even more for Budapest, the Central Market Hall.
Largest in Hungary, apparently.
Yeah, sounds like a must-for-food atmosphere. And the Chain Bridge.
Finished way back in 1849. Such an important symbol, connecting Buda and Pest.
Right. And the Buda funicular, noted as a fun, classic way to get up the hill towards the castle.
A popular little trip.
It all makes you wonder, though, how does a city that's so clearly split by a river manage to feel, unified, while still keeping those really distinct characters for Buda and Pest?
Well, I think it's that constant dialogue, isn't it, between history and modernity, tradition and innovation.
Mm-hmm.
It all just flows across the Danube, figuratively speaking.
That makes sense.
But our sources didn't just stay in the capital, they guided us out to another major highlight, the Lake Balaton region.
Ah, the Hungarian Sea. Okay.
Yep, the material confirmed it's Central Europe's largest freshwater lake and the summer hotspot.
Right. Loads of activity.
Yeah, we learned about the whole aquatic and adventure sports scene. Sounds like you can do pretty much anything on the water or around it.
And they mention an aqua park.
Anagora.
Anagora Aqua Park, yeah, for guaranteed splashy fun, as they put it.
Oh, okay.
But the sources were just as keen to emphasize the other side of Balaton, the relaxation side.
Centered around the thermal waters again.
Exactly. Lake Haviz, specifically, it's at the western end of Balaton, described as the most significant thermal lake in the world.
Wow, a whole lake of hot springs. Apparently so. There's this wooden spa center built right in the middle, so you can easily get into the hot springs, have mud baths.
That sounds incredible.
It does. And what's really fascinating here, I think, is how this one region combines that high-energy summer fun with something so deeply relaxing and therapeutic.
It's a really unique dual identity.
It really is.
And the sources mention charming towns around the lake, too.
Tiffany, yeah, on the northern shore. Sounds lovely. A quaint village known for stunning views, lavender fields, apparently.
Oh, nice.
And Tiffany Abbey, which holds some incredible art and history.
Okay. What else around the lake?
Well, further along that northern shore, there's Balaton Fjord. It was noted as a spa city surrounded by mountains.
Linked to a national park.
Kolska Valley National Park, yeah. Perfect if you want to swap the lake for some hiking, camping, or just a picnic.
A bit of variety.
And then on the southern shore, Siofok offers a contrast.
Yeah.
More focused on beaches, or any part, and Ezu's part were the names mentioned.
Golden Shore and Silver Shore.
Something like that. And it has a lively nightlife scene, especially around this area called Malakon Patofi. Bars, clubs, discos.
So something for everyone around Balaton.
Pretty much. Oh, and Balaton Fjord is also home to a vineyard Figula Pinchasset, making Figula wine since '93. You can actually do tastings there.
With local cheese, the source said?
Often with cheese or appetizers, yeah. So it adds another layer, you know. It's not just scenery, there's taste involved too.
Okay, so shifting gears from the lake. The sources took us inland, right? To explore other cities.
That's right. Cities layered with history, wine, unique character. Eger was prominent.
Eger, described as one of Hungary's oldest cities, full of charm, deeply tied to its history and its vineyards.
Vineyards are key there, but Eger Castle is definitely the centerpiece. Right in the city center.
Historically significant.
Very. The material really stressed its historical weight, is where the Hungarians famously resisted the Turkish onslaught. You can even see art exhibitions inside that tell that story. And this history is inseparable from its wine. The sources highlighted the extensive vineyards, places like St. Andrea Wine Estate for tastings.
And they mentioned the Valley of the Beautiful Women.
They did, as the spot to really experience Ygri Pikaver.
The famous bull's blood wine.
That's the one. It's fascinating how that wine's name is often linked back to the castle's story, that fierce resistance.
A tangible link to the past.
And you can still see an Ottoman minaret in Eger too, a physical reminder of that whole era.
Incredible. Okay, north of Eger.
Estragum, a former capital city, way back in the 10th to 13th centuries.
Right, and the sources said the first thing you see are the basilica domes.
Massive green domes, yeah. Described as the largest basilica in Central Europe. Apparently offers these sweeping views over the Danube and the mountains.
Must be quite a sight.
Sounds breathtaking. And beyond the basilica, the sources listed other important sites. The castle, palace areas, Cheny Square.
And a district with Ottoman monuments.
The Watertown district, yes, still holds monuments from that era. They even gave practical tips, like checking out Primus Pints, a restaurant in the cellar under the basilica.
Oh, interesting.
Or staying at the St. Edelbert Hotel. Useful details.
Definitely. Our sources then sort of broaden the view, pointing to several other cities, each with its own thing.
Right. Pécs in the south came up, described as a cultural hub.
Mixing Roman ruins and medieval architecture.
Yeah, with art too. They highlighted Pécs Cathedral and the Zasolny Cultural Quarter, known for porcelain. It's a real mix. Ottoman and Christian history side by side.
Then Miskolc, fourth largest city.
Noted for its history and the medieval Diosgyr Castle, which apparently hosts outdoor performances.
Cool.
But the really unique mention there was the Miskolc Topolka cave baths, hot springs inside a natural cave system.
You keep finding these amazing thermal spots.
Hungary seems full of them. And then Veszprém, west of the capital. Despite historical onslaughts, it preserves vestiges of its past.
Like a cathedral.
The Cathedral of San Miguel. Yeah, Gothic style, with art exhibitions. So what this patchwork of cities really shows, it's how deeply Hungary's entire history all its layers, different cultures, conflicts, is quite literally built into its urban landscapes.
Yeah, you can really see it.
Absolutely. And it's not just the big cities or the historically pivotal ones. The sources also pointed to charming smaller places, like Santander.
Near the capital, right?
Yeah, in Pest County. Sounds delightful. Described as a colorful village, dotted with historical monuments like the Church of St. John the Baptist.
And museums?
Notable museums, yeah. Skansen was mentioned. He gives you a living history experience, recreating regional architecture. And the Firenze Museum for Art, both local and international.
Nice. And then there was Lilleford.
Lilleford, yes.
Oh.
Mentioned as a tourist center built around this Renaissance-style palace hotel, known for its beautiful interior.
And then it's a gateway to Buki Park.
Exactly, which ties into the Book Mountains region we heard about, offering hiking connecting to prehistoric caves.
There's access to lakes and rivers for canoeing, biking.
All of that. Oh, and a specific call out for the Sinva Stream waterfall there, over 20 meters high.
Wow. So lots of nature, too.
Which brings us to the next point. Hungary isn't just about historical cities and charming towns. Our sources made it really clear it offers a wealth of natural beauty and outdoor adventures.
They really did shift focus to the stunning landscapes at points.
Yes, definitely. They highlighted Hortobágy National Park, Hungary's largest, and a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Described as a steppe.
A vast, unique steppe landscape, yes. Home to diverse wildlife, like the great bustard, which is quite rare.
How do you explore it?
Various ways. By bike, on foot, or even a traditional horse-drawn carriage, which sounds quite atmospheric.
Then a complete contrast, going underground, Agtelek National Park.
Right. The sources talked about the Baradla cave system there, another massive UNESCO site.
Made of limestone?
Limestone, yeah. Filled with incredible stalactites and stalagmites. You explore it via guided tours, apparently.
Here's where it gets really interesting for me. Thinking about that contrast. The wide-open, flat expanse of the Hortobágy steppe.
Compared to the deep, intricate, hidden world of the Agdallik caves.
Yeah. It shows an incredible geological and ecological diversity in one country.
It really does. And reinforcing that point about diversity, the sources also mentioned the Book Mountains again.
As a prime region for hiking.
Exactly. With its forests, cliffs, and more caves. This connects back to what we heard about Lilleford and the picturesque Staloshka Valley within the Book region.
Right.
It solidifies that image of a landscape perfect for active exploration, hiking, biking, finding picnic spots by the water.
Okay, after all that exploring, you're definitely going to be ready to eat.
Absolutely. And the sources dove right into Hungarian cuisine.
Described as hearty, flavorful.
Incredibly flavorful, yeah. And rich with diverse cultural influences, as you'd expect.
So what are the must-try dishes, according to the sources?
Well, they listed some essentials. Goulash, of course. Gulia,
National dish.
highlighted as such. A rich, spiced beef stew, often served with bread or dumplings. Sounds like perfect comfort food.
Definitely.
Then langos, described as a super popular street food.
What is it exactly?
Deep-fried flatbread with all sorts of delicious toppings, apparently. Savory, usually.
Okay, sounds indulgent.
And paprika sirke chicken in a creamy paprika sauce. Paprika is clearly key in Hungarian cooking.
It seems so. And dessert?
For dessert, the famous Dobos torte, that multi-layered sponge cake with chocolate buttercream and a crisp caramel top.
Sounds amazing.
Doesn't it?
And we can't forget the drinks that pair with all this food. The sources mention Hungarian wine.
Oh yes, Tokaji was highlighted.
The sweet white wine.
That's the one, famous for centuries.
Yeah.
And of course, Igri Bikaver, the bull's blood red wine we heard about in Eger.
Right, pairs well with the hearty dishes.
Noted as pairing perfectly with those goulash-type meals.
Makes sense.
Finally, this stack of sources rounded things off with some practical tips for planning your own Hungarian adventure.
Good, just the quick hits you need before you potentially go.
Exactly. Currency is the Hungarian forint, HUF.
Okay, A2F.
Language is Hungarian, naturally. But we learned English is widely understood, especially in tourist areas.
So communication shouldn't be a major hurdle.
Probably not in the main spots, no.
And the best time to visit.
The sources suggested spring, so April to June, and fall, September to November. Generally pleasant weather and fewer crowds.
Summer's peak season, then?
July and August, yeah. Especially around Lake Balaton, understandably, and in Budapest, too.
Okay. How about getting around?
Sounds relatively easy. The public transport system, especially trains and buses, is described as extensive and reliable.
Particularly in Budapest.
Yeah, in between cities. And for exploring locally, bicycles were mentioned as a great option.
A bike sharing available.
In many urban areas, yes.
Wow. We really journeyed through those sources, didn't we?
We covered a lot of ground.
From the vibrant energy of Budapest, that split personality, to the unique blend of relaxation and recreation around Lake Balaton, uncovering those ancient towns steeped in layers of history.
Exploring surprising natural landscapes, caves, steppes.
And getting hungry talking about that flavorful food. It's really clear Hungary is a country where rich history, stunning architecture, diverse nature, and vibrant culture aren't just separate features.
They're deeply interwoven, tangled together.
Yeah.
This deep dive, I think, has allowed us to pull out those key threads from all that source material. We've tried to weave them together to give you a solid starting point for understanding Hungary.
It sounds like it.
It truly does seem like a country that offers incredibly diverse opportunities for just about anyone. Whether you're into history, nature, relaxation, food, it's got something.
So as you, our listener, reflect on everything we've just unpacked from these sources, what aspect of Hungary stands out most vividly to you? Was it the way history is etched into every city street?
Or maybe the sheer variety of natural beauty, from those deep caves to the wide open steppe.
Perhaps the comforting warmth of the food, the goulash and langos?
Or the unique appeal of soaking in a thermal bath, maybe even in a cave or a whole lake.
Lots to think about.
And maybe consider this final thought, drawn directly from the picture these sources painted. If Hungary is a land built on these deep, diverse cultural influences and historical layers, resistance, empires blending, traditions mixing,
All those things we discussed.
how do you think those roots continue to shape the feeling, the actual experience of visiting the country today? Maybe you could pick just one specific detail we touched upon, like the story connected to the Eager Castle defense or the origins of those ruined pubs.
Or the history of Tokaji wine.
Exactly. Pick one thing and maybe make that your very next step in learning just a little bit more.